Hello, this is Uncle Jim, and this is kind of a mock-up update on the Tote Gote, made in Provo, Utah, 58 to 61, something like that. All right, so I'm going to be yanking this engine. I put a new carb on it, and it's just not happy. It's just fighting me, and it's a Tecumseh, so I'm going to put a Briggs & Stratton on here. And so I'm just kind of mocking it up. I went through the jack shaft and everything, and so now I'm just kind of trying to figure out how I want this. And me and my son both agree we got to have the deer rack on there. It's bulldog ugly and makes it retro cool. So there's the deer rack. And the screen is just clamped on here for now. Both of them have to go a couple inches forward so it doesn't stick out. But what's kind of neat is a milk crate fits in there, and you can strap her down so you can carry all kinds of cargo going into town and stuff. So I gave this engine every chance, and it's just fighting me, and I'm like, nope, I'm putting a Briggs in it. The problem is in the cold storage room, getting to the engines is really tough, but I found a red Briggs IC engine that might be just perfect for this, a 5-horse, and then we'll do a forward mount and decide on which carburetor. All right. So the neat thing about this, it matches Milwaukee tools, which I'll be using to pull the engine, and the Utes. Yeah, baby, the Utes. So on the front is a Tote Gote emblem. On the side of this screen that protects everything is 2 Tote Gote emblems, one on each side, but I might do Ute emblems instead. I don't know. All right, so I'll pull the engine, put the other block in there without a carb and a gas tank, and we'll see how that looks. It's just been fighting me. I forgot, how much BS you got to go through mocking up stuff. And so we'll go from there. All right. I really do like the deer rack. It's got to go forward. It's sticking out too much. But it is just uber. And you can go down to the gate and pick up UPS packages, whatever. No battery needed. Just yank it and go down the hill. Oh, yeah. So we were talking about grips, and I was going to use the original or others, and then my son showed me these, which fit perfectly on here. They're nice and soft and comfy, and we're gonna go with these. They look great on here. You got them closeout sale, and they're perfect, and they'll still look retro. Now this plate here, I can't remember if it goes under the screen or over the screen, but the other seat can mount to it, or you can just have cargo. So I have both seats, but I think my son doesn't want the back seat on there, and we'll just go for the cargo look. All right. Okay, pulled the engine. Right now my wife and son are at the vet's for Leon. He might come back with just one eye. I hope he doesn't lose his eye. Anyway. This little tool is awesome. It was quick and easy. Nuts and bolts, baby. You got to have one of these. Now, here's the deal. I tried to get this running super quick. Thought it was the carb. I checked for spark, cleaned the spark plug, and it was still giving me fits. And now this carburetor, aftermarket China, looked like the main high speed was not seating properly. And I'm like, you know what, screw this. We're gonna go a different route. But I did make the effort to put a boob lamp spark arrestor on the exhaust. And I think Tin Man would like that. Look at that. The boob lamp spark arrestor, easy to change. These are little sync screens you can buy in a 3-pack. And that would have been awesome. But now we're going a different route, and we're gonna go Briggs & Stratton. If you're wondering what this is, I always put a kill switch on my engines right here, which you can just reach down and hit with your thumb in case your on-off switch doesn't work. It's a nice safety feature. All right, let's see what it looks like with the Briggs and Stratton in here. Okay, I must have like 15 engines in the cold storage room, and I can't remember what is where. And so I just went for the easiest box on top, and let's see what this is. And hopefully, yeah. Oh, it's got a side draft too. Oh baby, this might work. This might work nicely. All right. Got a kill switch button on it already. That might work quite nicely, actually. I'll show you what the problem with the T Gote and fitment is, but we might put a Mikuni on this sucker. This might be the engine. I gotta clean it up a little. All right, let's put it in the bike. Okay, so this is more of a modern engine that doesn't fit the correct era. However, the colors match. It's a little skanky, it needs cleaning up. But it's an IC engine, my favorite, iron sleeve or steel sleeve, so you can rebuild them forever. They're built like tanks. I have the kill switch already there, modified. And on this side, it has the dipstick. So you can use the dipstick and fill the oil and check it. That's kind of nice and easy. And then also right down here is a low oil indicator. I removed that, and it looks like I put a gasket and made a plate for it. And that's nice. Get rid of the modern car bullshit. And so that's gonna be good. I think this will clean up nice enough to look okay in this. And I do like the side draft carburetor mount here, because we could put a Mikuni on here, and that's going to be a lot less maintenance. It's going to start right up. And I think I have a Mikuni that'll fit this. It's usually you'll use like a 19 to 22 Mikuni millimeter, and that's about the right size. And then I have lots of exhausts I can do, and I can do whatever. I think this might work. I need to clean it up a little bit. Let's check the compression. Oh yeah, it's got compression for days. I think this might work. Let's put it in the bike, and I found this on the floor. I'm still finding bullets on the floor. Okay, I'll show you what it looks like in here in a minute. I put bolts in it so I know where it is. I put the torque converter on so I know what distance the engine has to be to the belt. And this is where it sits, which is kind of nice. Now, I was kind of surprised this had the angled intake, because I can put a little Mikuni on here and it'll go right there, and all the crap from the tire won't go into the air filter. And then with the little air filters, it should clear right there, just enough. So that looks pretty good. And this is going to be super easy to start and reliable. You got your choke. They're super easy. You can jet them anything you want and get more horsepower. All right. Now, this is what, are we in camera? This is what T Gotes came with. All right. Your old school downdraft carburetor. And a lot of times the old ones would leak on me eventually, but I bought this one new old stock a long time ago. It was brand new old stock. Came off military stuff. And I could always put this in, and the reason is you got all this framing in the way, so you can't have the gas tank and the carburetor in the back like a normal Briggs engine. So you have this in there, this would fit flush, and everything's out of the way. And then you have your throttle on both sides right here, so it's easy to hook up. And then you have your choke lever right here. And then you have a bowl here in case you got water in your gas and stuff. That's all nice and good, but with my experience putting Mikunis on these engines, they just start up and run and go, and there's no maintenance. It's very easy, and you can adjust them fully. And I think we might go this route if the little air cleaner clears. I only have giant air cleaners for 8 horse, but I think that's going to clear. It's about to here, and it'll be really nice, I think. Otherwise, we can modify it this way or that way with a plate, but I think it's going to be okay. So, all right, I'll back out and show you what the engine looks like in here. Let me get off the bipod. Okay, I'm very cramped in the garage, but this looks pretty darn good on there. The engine color is a little off, which I could mask off the emblem and paint it and leave the IC on there. I think that's pretty good. I got to figure out what IC is going to mean with the T Gote. And then of course all this has to go forward a bit because the seat's on already. And I'll show you that. I think the boy's going to be happy when he comes home and find that I found the right engine with the angled carb manifold. We shall see. Okay, so the engine color doesn't quite match, but I think it's good enough. We still got the Ute colors. And so clearance wise, if we use the Mikuni and I don't have to deal with the downdraft original carburetor, I think it's going to be way easier. Now, next is gas tank. My son wants a big gas tank on there. We're going to do a mount here to a gas tank under here because we got all that space and keep it clean. He wants a big gas tank. I like the small gas tank. We're going to have to argue over that. I have both. They're going to be plastic so they don't rust. And it's a matter of being able to get to the dipstick and oil filler. And that's not going to be that tough because we could extend it out. So, all right, I think this is going to be the engine for now. It's not authentic vintage, but it's going to be functional and good enough. I think it looks okay on there. Tell me what you think. And then we'll discuss this in a minute. But that side draft intake is really going to help putting a Mikuni on there because that's what I wanted. It's so much easier using those carburetors versus the other ones you got to dink with every few years and leakage and all that. A Mikuni is what they use on motorcycles and stuff, and it's just too much. It's just way too easy. And even though it won't be vintage, it's still going to be cool, I think. Well, there was a change in plan. I didn't want to give up on that old Tecumseh. All right. Like a glove. All right, stay tuned for the next video. We'll get it all sussed up and get it all together. All righty then. Okay, so today I told my son, you know what? I don't want to give up on that little Tecumseh engine yet. It's got the tit for the exhaust. All we got to do is get a right carburetor on there and get her going. And so we proof tested the engine today, and I think this is going to work out just fine. All right, so later we'll put the Briggs and Stretton in there, but for now, what we did was put more of a downdraft carburetor manifold, which I had, put a Japanese carburetor on there with a choke you can get to that's out of the way of the exhaust. And we have different air filters, but this one looks pretty good. And I think this looks badass. Now, if we were to put the Briggs in, we had to do a gas tank mount. I have round gas tanks, different kinds. And this was so easy. All we had to do is get this running and everything fit. And it was simple and easy. So for now, we're gonna run her like this. I'll get her hooked up and that'll be the next video. But now we got it mocked up. We know the engine runs good with this carburetor. And some of that was my bad. It was gravity from the gas tank to the carburetor without using a fuel pump. And the less stuff you have on it, the better. All right, so I think once we get it all put together, it's going to be good. I'm going to run. I did the jack shafts, by the way, cleaned them up, painted them. I need to clean and paint some bits on this engine exhaust. But for now, we're going to run it like this because it starts first pull. And we did a test and it starts first pull, and that's what I want. So it's easy to adjust the carburetor. And then we're going to put a fender here. This is where the back foot pegs go, but this is going to be a one rider. So we're going to put bolts here, a brace across here, and put a fender up in here so we don't spray dirt and snow all into the carburetor. So we're going to put a little fender here. That'll be another fab job. Get the brake. We got to do the brake mod right here on the rear brake. And we're going to be good to go. So I'm pretty happy today that I didn't give up on this little engine. And then we'll use the Briggs once we destroy this engine. All right, continuing until next time, we'll take her for a ride. Thanks for watching.